Welcome to Inform TV. I'm Alan Repke, Alexandria, Minnesota. Today, this March 2nd, 2013, I'm going to have a little continuing of the investigating the Jefferson school sale and TIF. And we want to do it in a way from a standpoint of clarifying some things as a true press source and trying to get an out-of-state TV station that we get on more than just the tower out here at Garfield, and I made that mistake before. I apologize for that. But just on the tower out here, that we can also get into charter, and in this whole process of doing some digging into a couple of the individuals and a couple of the businesses, when we look at public policy, we want to do it in an open bear. But the reason we targeted the people, the person, one's elected official and one's seems to have his hand in everything in town and here and maybe in the county, and all of this is legal, of course, but we're saying here at Inform TV, I'm saying that the public just has a right to know what's going on, and that's why we're investigating things. And I want to clarify some things on this Jefferson sale as well as the TIF deal. So just the school deal, there were some things on going on with the technical school and relating to their housing project, and that all these things are tied together, the TIF and that type of thing. And I just want to bring that to the public's attention. The common people that don't have a dish or don't have charter, and I just want you to understand that when you really start digging into what's going on in a community or a government, whether it's the federal government, the state government, those that are getting the privilege and have the bucks to make things happen, you can see why they do not want charter to carry Inform TV in any manner, shape, or form. And whether it's the city council, the mayor, the county commissioners, everybody is ducking. And what we have to look at here is what's happening here, in my opinion, of a guy that's been on 6 continents and been very privileged both financially and health-wise and access, that it's truly an aristocracy. And Webster defines an aristocracy as government by a noble or privileged class. And you also reference it doesn't matter if it's the city of Alexandria or the county of Douglas. I think there's some things that we here in outstate Minnesota, if we're going to establish a true outstate station that entertains you, brings you information, the whole broad spectrum, you have to be bold enough and old enough and not committed to your own well-being to the point where you say as a Christian, hey, there's some things going on here that should not be going on. And as a previously good, well-recognized businessman, farmer, involved in society events, churches, a national board member of a major industry here in the state of Minnesota and nationally, and when people start talking about how terrible you are, you have to fight back, and you don't fight back. At my age, it doesn't really matter what anybody says. In fact, it never did in my life. My old man would say, you seem to draw a little electricity in your life, don't you? And he said, as long as you know what you're talking about, keep it up. The goal in life is not to be popular. The goal in life is to be respected, and as an individual that treats people fair. And when you walk into a room or a business or a meeting, everybody knows, hey, this meeting, this event is going to be handled above board. Now, that didn't mean that somebody wasn't going to make more money or have some privileges. You know, life isn't perfect. And I wasn't taught or raised in a church or a home or a community that believed in that. We've got to deal with the shortcomings of man, and we've got to take care of the guy on the very bottom, and the guys in the top end, for the most part, can take care of themselves. But at the same time, we have to see that we have a playing field that benefits us all. And with this garbage about as long as we take care of the upper end, what Webster defined as a noble or privileged, everything's fine and dandy. And we're finding out with this ridiculous debt we have in this country, and issues that should turn everybody's stomach. Somebody's got to stand up, and like I said, it doesn't bother me one way or another. As far as what people think of me and what kind of garbage they want to bring up, my dirty laundry is really interesting. You'll learn as much from my dirty laundry as my successful events. But anyway, as we get involved in here in the program today, this March 2nd, 2013, about 6 o'clock in the evening, I wanted to make a correction on that land. We talked about that 47 acres right east of Alex Power Equipment, where that we advertised with, but the people at that's what the Gardenville stockholders, manager, board of directors didn't like me saying a few things, and now of course when I said they're getting about $28,000 a year in this TIF money. Unfortunately, a great business out there that I'd love to buy some stuff, and I definitely recommend you going out, see Alan and his crew. I wouldn't have did the good piece on them if I didn't think they were super. In fact, I'm going to help them out on a project that will keep that business going as a good business here in an outstate community. And we'll pick on Charlie, but we won't be afraid to eat there or do things there. I think it's a wonderful facility, and I hope you pick on him a little bit, and that's the intent of the thing. Everything that he's involved in there is legal, but now he's a public official, and some of these things that are going on in government, people, are just not right. And if we use them to help something get going, and I said point blank, I think probably Charlie and his family in that situation needed that. But my guess is right now it probably doesn't. And when do we fund these TIF, these tax increment breaks to businesses? Yet at the same time, we got Douglas Machine in here that's what? An employee-owned company. And the issue is, so we talk about the fat cats. No, it's not who is noble in the city of Alexandria and Douglas County and who is privileged that are getting benefits. I challenge you, because all the people in Douglas Machine, I think, or Douglas Scientific, I think that was a spinoff, I think they're both EAPs, which means employee owned. So you people here watching this television program today, ask some of those guys that work out there, that fish with you, that golf with you, that go to your church, your kids share things. Do you guys need a kickback 45 days after you pay some of your real estate taxes there? Is that real? And some of the other businesses that have been getting exclusion and that type of thing, you guys, are some of you businesses getting better paid than the average? I hope you are. I want good pay and good benefits for everybody, whether they like me or not. But at the same time, we got to get things balanced out here a little bit. But so we're going to get into some of the numbers that, like I said, Charlie barked at me at, and to show you that we're fair here, and we just want to show you what's really going on. Yet at the same time, these good students that email me, I don't have enough faith in the way I've been treated in School District 206. I want to make sure some of you parents at least, these students that were bold enough to write to me, that get some advertising in business. I think this program is a real eye-opener for them. Those kids in the robotics thing, really nice kids. They were very respectful to me, and it's a true asset to your community. Getting some hands-on approach to what young people need. And I'll give you an example of one of the things at the tech school out there, and I know the president despises me. I know the little old lady that runs the foundation despises me because I don't play by their rules. But anyway, what I was getting at here, I got a little fish house, 4x8, that I got a super deal on. It's all aluminum. A guy had to sell it. You know, he got too greedy early on and kept it, finally had to sell it a year ago or whatever I bought from him. And so I decided it's 4x8, but I just will make it 6x8, and hopefully we're going to get some more money in, and even the students there will help find some advertising for me and you guys listening, and we get on charter in a bigger area. We can get a better area here in Informed TV. And so what I'm getting at here is those kids, and I don't dare put it the email up, and I hope I don't have it when I show you some other stuff here, because I want those kids protected. And these kids wrote to me and they said, "Hi, we're students at Jefferson High School wishing to get some airtime to advertise our charity event. It's called the Empty Bowls Project, and it's a student-led project for raising money for the Alexandria area food shelf by holding a silent auction and chili and soup feed with live entertainment. This is our third year doing the project, and the last 2 years we raised over $8,000 total. But this year our goal is set high at $10,000 plus. We are hoping that we can find a way to advertise through your television station." And you know, I told you in this the piece on this TIF and the school sale that I wrote back right away, "Yeah, whatever you guys want." I really enjoyed getting the privilege of filming your deal, but I never would have got in there if the superintendent or these higher education people would have knew about it. But it was an open house. I just went in there and they were really gracious, a great advisor and all this. But anyway, then they also wrote, "P.S. Thank you for doing a story on the robotics team. We've been getting large amounts of local recognition since then." And I'm really proud and happy about that, because they were some good kids. And that's the type of thing I believe that our school systems in high school need to do. We need to get some personal experience. This deal of just saying, open the book and read the computer, you know what's going on. It just doesn't happen. And whether it's Brent Smith there and a great business of A-Guards or Douglas Machine or Excursion or Charlie's hospitality house there with bowling, those people know their business. They've had some hands-on experience, and that's what I want to see in this wonderful community we all live in. But at the same time, I think everybody needs to be challenged. And what I'm getting at here, on my little fish house that I lost track at, I decided I've only got a couple $100 and it's all lumen. I was going to split it a little bit and put 2 feet in it, so it'd be 4x6. So if I ever found somebody that wanted to go fishing with me, or just if I'm going to have, it's too heavy for me to pull for the most part. And the first time I took it out this year, I pulled it 3/4 of a mile, and I found out that I was still pretty good shape for an old man, because it pulled like a dinosaur. But anyway, in this process here, I thought, one of the guys in the building here was an electrician, and I said, "You know anybody that's got a little shop or something out there that on the farm or something can weld a little aluminum, and so I don't have to spend too much money?" And then these guys at the blacksmith shop there at Miltona, they said, "Yeah, we'll take care of a trailer. It won't cost you a lot if you get some money coming in," and da-da-da. But anyway, what I was getting at, I called the tech school there, and this one of the instructors will protect his innocence because management there will come and slam down on him, I suppose. And I think already did, because I never heard back from him when he said, yeah, that's a good idea, but here's what he told me. We got a welding class out here, which I think is great. Any kid that doesn't, whether it's a boy or a girl, that doesn't seem to have book learnings, as they say, they need to be taught some skills such as welding, such as carpentry, but at the same time, I think every student should have some chemistry, kind of keep all the pigs rolling through the 12 grades, because we never know when their mind will blossom. And I was a terrible student in high school, but I mean, when I got to college, I got dang near straight A's, but unfortunately, because I screwed around too much in high school and just kind of observed the world and missed a few key days, probably sick when I was a kid and never learned how to read or write. So, you know, you have that deal, and then you kind of play the devil's advocate and have fun in school, I guess. But my old man said, well, you're not smart enough to learn, you'll pay the price, you'll figure it out at some point in time. And yet at the same time, the way I was educated, it turned out there were some benefits in being just ignore the big shots or torment them. And you know, that unfortunately, like I said in the one piece, the Sonoma Club, and rather than at the Sertoma Club, you know, the little town I grew up, Hector, Minnesota, there was guys like me that were older than me that you know, we were nice to the teachers, we got along with the principal, the superintendent, but there was a few teachers that they thought when they were cocky, you know, or even some of our fellow students, if they had a big name or something, we'd purposely mispronounce and that type of thing. And I'm still, unfortunately, blessed with that deal. And anyway, what I was getting at here is in that fish house deal, the instructor here said, today these students come in so ill-prepared. They've never did anything like these robotic kids are doing. And some of the businesses, Todd out there, and I can't even think out of Carlos, that great little machine shop there that does a lot of things for the big industries in school, in the area, and was helpful on that robotics team, Todd told me. Those kind of guys are hands-on people. And I just love that fact, but this instructor says, and I told him pass some of my tapes on, or see if I can come in and talk to the farm guy, or some of the welding, or some of the bookkeeping class, and boom, I haven't heard boo, because upper management got wind of that, and I'm sure I'm totally blacklisted from ever entering that building. But it's a public building, isn't it, owned by 206? Shouldn't I, as a press person that wants to better all of society, just not the elitists, be in there? But anyway, what I'm getting at here is the fact that he said these kids come in so ill-prepared, and it's only a 10-month welding course, I think the guy told me, that I maybe only have one or two kids that I could tell them to cut this or cut it the way you want it and then weld it back, but I don't even know if I can trust them and still, because I need them to help some of these other kids that come in here that all of a sudden, well, we got to do something. Mom and Dad said we got to go to college, so why don't you weld then? Your grades are back. And I think it's great. You know, you can go on to a wonderful career and these kids can blossom. But that's what I'm getting at in this hands-on thing. And so I hope you guys, in fact, the students, if any of you guys are listening, I also stopped Trump Drug, of course, they won't advertise with me, but the lady that I had when I did the holiday train thing here that charter people couldn't see, even though I covered the mayor well and all this kind of stuff, she said March is a special month for food shelf, so I'm going to the local food shelf here and do a piece with her on Tuesday if all goes well and I got the money and that kind of stuff. And then hopefully that'll tie into this project these kids are doing, our students I should say, and So, but at any place, can you look online and hopefully we'll get an ad or talk to those kids that the administration here doesn't harass them for contacting me, and we'll get a big turnout. So keep that on mind. You heard what I was saying here. What do they call it? Empty Bowls Project. So if you come to town, whenever that date is, it must be coming up pretty, let's help those kids out. Come in, let's get them $10,000. Let's get them 12. You know, let's help them out. A great bunch of kids, and I'm not saying it's just a robotics class, but this group of kids that wants to be active in our community, and we certainly want them to do that. But so that's why I brought it up. And then a couple of the other deals here. When you take on City Hall and so on and so forth, the noble and the privileged. Who is the noble? Who is the privileged? We won't get in that. We're burning up time fast here. But the one thing I did talk about, if you can help me and you people that want, and I started the one day and I lost my train of thought. And that is the Target, the corporations, the bigger corporations, and not just the Target store, but the Walmart store, the Office Max, the Menards, the Fleet Farms, the McDonald's, and so on down, the Burger Kings, that type of thing. That, hey, we got a local TV station in here. We watch that station. Why don't you get your corporate guys to advertise here on the local station Inform TV? Because we need that. We watch that. The audience is growing more all the time, and we find out things we don't find out anyplace else, and we want to know those things. We get some entertainment. Our kids get on there, and we get this guy to the next notch. We'll get even more, and we'll get it a bigger area. He'll bring people in, even the businesses that hate his guts. He'll bring in way more than any advertising program. You get a TV station that really knows how to rock and roll in outstate Minnesota. It's a super plus for this great community, these wonderful lakes, these golf courses, and all these fine businesses that people come to town for. But so get after those stores. Ask for the managers, and why aren't you doing advertising with it? And the other thing I'd ask you to do is and question your city officials on. When you go into Target store or Walmart store, the guy at Kmart actually wanted to do something, and then on one of his stations. What I'm saying is, Target's got all those TVs all lit up. Walmart's got them all lit up. Why don't they have the local station on there all the time? And so people that don't have access to it, because the noble and the privileged that control governance in this area don't want everybody to see what's going on. But wouldn't you think it'd be a great place? The various furniture stores that sell TVs and that kind of thing, that they could have the local channel on, and so people could see what's going on. So that's what I was talking there, and going forward. But at the same time, you might have noticed, but you probably haven't, because I know I get into your mind and my voice has great powers and that thing. But actually, if you're watching this, you're actually not seeing me right now. Have you noticed that? And of course, when you take on the privileged and the noble in a community and challenge the governing bodies that are controlled by these noble people, even though in November we all thought we voted for people that would represent all of us, and even I, as bold as I am, know that I don't dare show my face in this town for at least a few days, and if I go out for a bite to eat or something, I'm going to have to go out of city limits. That's just the way it is. And in fact, I stopped at the new dollar store, or I think it's Dollar Value or whatever. Anyway, it's by Slumberland, and we're going to do a piece with those fine people there, and they're going to do a little advertising. So if you go to that new dollar store, it's It's between Kmart and the Kmart manager was very nice to me on this TV deal. I need to go back and see if he figured out a way to get one TV with Inform TV on 24/7 in his store. But anyway, it's right in there, and so if you go there and buy anything, make sure you say, hey, tell the manager we watch Inform TV, and so that point. I got these glasses, and of course when you take on City Hall, I'm even smart enough to know that I can't probably show my face for a few days till the heat dies down, as they say. Even this, although this is supposed to be a democracy we live in. But anyway, I got some sunglasses, and so you guys that ride, low-income people that ride from time to time in Orange Cap, see if you can get Leonard there and Jerry and Jason. That when my car was broke down and I got so cold, once in a while I'd have to get a ride with those guys, and they always treated me like a king and picked on me and whatever. But tell them maybe they're going to have to throw a blanket in the back of the van there, then they can drive by and I'll just jump in and they'll sneak me in and out of town till the heat dies down. And then at the same time, maybe we can get Dean Watkins, man, he's the chief financial officer of Kyle's Barbershop, that maybe they can find a hairpiece for me and dye my beard just a touch of gray, you know, so it's safe for me to cross the street, you know, here in Alexandria while we're just throwing some needed information on the noble and the privileged in town that need to realize everybody in this fine community needs a fair shake, and that's what we're about here. So obviously I think you're always running a calculator and stuff when you watch Inform TV, so it doesn't really matter that I'm on. And anyway, as we look at some of these things, and we know there's at least I know I've challenged the system before and won and made a lot of these big shots free. But to be fair on why I brought the challenging up of how all those involved in our school sale, that when I looked at it, what I had access to, it was not the way I believe public policy should be handled. And they can tell me how professional they are and how cockeyed important they are, and they don't need to talk to a lowlifer like me. But I think you, the audience Inform TV, understand what I was talking about. In fact, I've had a few emails that said, wow. But anyway, look at this. Here's paperwork about an inch thick. And this paperwork, people, I'm going to show you. Can you see? It's paperwork on both sides. And what I'm getting at, you know, our county hospital doesn't want to talk to me, and a lot of other that are somewhat government agencies are supposed to be watched by our elected officials, yet despise me because I'm not high enough up the food chain or don't have a fancy title and degree. I just my knowledge is based on experience, just like we're trying to get those students at the robotics team and help everybody here. But here's the example I want to give you. These documents, people, are about, and they're proper. I mean, I can see why the money was spent and why they did it. But here's the difference between what I see on the high school sale, how that was handled, compared to how when we look out for the privileged in our community, when the hospital that already made a major expansion or was in the process decided they wanted to take over the clinic, to hold back, what is it, Sanford, which is a nonprofit similar to our deal, and There's always angles and that kind of thing in every business, and hopefully, being we've got two powerhouses in town now, we do start getting better medical care and cheaper medical care. But here's the point that I want to make. I saw a few slopshod accepted and put together, in my view, who's handled a lot of real estate deals, advised on real estate deals, was on a board that that did something, and I was, even though I couldn't read and write, I was a secretary because they knew I wouldn't sign off for the cooperative that was doing hundreds of millions. Now it's doing over $500 million business, unless everything was kosher. And I wasn't afraid to challenge the manager. I wasn't afraid to challenge the accountants or the lawyers, because they darn well knew when I said, I don't like that paragraph, this is what I want in it, and you better be done next time you give me a copy. But anyway, and yet we were great friends because I knew I was doing it for the betterment of all, and wasn't a bully by any words. Don't misconstrue that. But here's what I'm getting at. When our people that, in my opinion, take care of the noble and the privileged here in our community, and that's why I'm bringing up, and this is my editorial as a press person, trying to get you people to think about something and to challenge some of the things that are going on. When we had a county hospital, then I don't know the relationship of the county board and that type of thing. When they successfully got involved with what? Buying out a group of doctors and probably some nurses of a stockholder of the clinic. What did they do to see that those guys, these poor struggling doctors here in town, got full appraised value for the property that a public entity bought? They entered into with a professional real estate organization, Diversified Real Estate Services out of Minneapolis, to put together, which is, if I don't know how many pages. Some of this, I think about 125-page document or something like that, but you see how thick it is. People, this is just the part for the Alexandria clinic that sold for, I think, when I talked to the guys, over $12 million. It's showing that in here. And the critics, the noble, the privileged will say that guy doesn't know what he's talking about, because that's a totally unrelated topic compared to the inside deal of saving that land for the good of the people and all this kind of stuff. Here's the other portion of that thick document. If you think the $12 million plus sale of the hospital buying the clinic, and hopefully it works out good, and you've got your doctor there and like things, I hope it's going well. That's not the issue. When the professionals were looking out for their other professional buddies, what did they do? They went and got a professional real estate organization all the way in Twin Cities. And now if there is any privilege, of course the privileged get a charter, so that they're not going to see this. They're going to say that's unrelated. That was a big bona fide deal, and they needed that. We didn't need this in a high school deal. You didn't, I would say. You're selling public property. And here you're buying public property, then you do everything to maximize the cost for you. That's the way I look at it. And it's professionals taking care of their fellow professionals. But what about the common people is what I'm at. And what I'm getting at is here, this same document, this is the other part of that document. Then they'll say the high school was a much smaller deal. It was only $2 million. And there's so many things that you common people couldn't understand in that deal. But I think we went over them very fairly and very thorough the other day. But what is this document for? This thick document from them same guys from Minneapolis on a piece of property that, according to this, sold for only about a fourth of what the school here sold, and way less square footage, I would think. And our school, I would think, even the clinic out there that we bought, way more footage, but yet it was valued as an old building, not important. But what I'm getting at here, the Osakis clinic that was sold for, or bought, or at least appraised at, I think it was a little less than $600,000. The professionals, buying from professionals, the noble and the privileged, they got a thick thorough document all the way around. And yet the sale price on that part was way less than $1 million, the way I interpret this thing. And what I'm getting at here, where was our school board? Where was our administration? Where were the people that we trust that are looking out for the common guy? Why didn't we have a deal like this, people? And I'm even saying at this point, to test our city assessor, our county assessor, that came to the conclusion that that thing was worth $9 million. And yet our officials, those what I view, and I think most of you would view as the noble and the privileged, they bought it way below what our assessors. So I'm saying if we can spend this kind of much money to buy poor starving doctors and nurses out to become part of a governed or community hospital, and we'll assume that if things are going to work out and benefit, but they got full value by experts, let's bring these same guys in now and see how they would value that property. It's still water over the dam. Brent and Sally Smith got what I consider a great deal. Maybe they don't, maybe you don't. But what I'm saying is, we can spend this kind of money on doctors and nurses projects, buying where the professionals, the noble, and the privileged get together to look out for themselves. Why don't we spend a few bucks, whether it's city bucks or county dollars, to see what that property is worth and see how a professional diversified real estate service, would they do things similar to what I was implying? That they would have come in and squared it up, they would have went to the courthouse, and they would have found out right away that there was a strip of that parking lot in there that was tied up with an agreement the school district itself had been involved in? Would they come in as professionals and say, well, this is going to become a private business at some point if the hospital, the clinic, the tech school, the high school doesn't need it? Where should we cut this off? Do they just need access along? And should we be enlarging our technical school parking lot there? That would be my guess that these guys would do. These guys also, my guess is, but let's see if the city fathers or the county commissioners would say, let's see if that thing was handled properly. And I'm doing it to say that, hey, next time in outstate Minnesota, if you truly have a press organization, truly have an informed TV that's looking out for everybody, just not the noble and the privileged, I think this is the kind of thing that should come. Now, whether these guys need to have a document that both sides of the paper, see, I want to make sure that clinic over, I don't even know where it is over in the state, because I normally don't have enough gas to drive that far. But if I ever get over there, I'll take a look at it. And some of the numbers, page numbers, you know, all these expert reports, they'll put a page number, and then they'll have some pages that don't have a page number. This one says page 114, and there's a bunch in there that are things that are plats and pictures that don't have page numbers. But you see what I'm getting at here, people?